We only have 3.
Well, let's bring her over
so-
because, well, let's give her
We
the
can talk
opportunity
about-
to listen to what we're talking about,
Exactly.
and if she doesn't want to take that opportunity,
Who's that?
So
Alice,
there's
who runs
only
this.
3 voting members right now.
We need 5.
Is Alice on, Alice is on the board,
Yes,
right?
but she's 4.
Oh, we need 5.
So we can't have a formal public meeting without 5 and take action, but we can chat about these things, which
Okay.
half of it's sort of informational anyway, so.
Okay. Again, sorry I was late.
No, it's all right, everyone, we had a quorum RSVP, they just changed their minds, so.
Well, you know, I live in Vallejo, and I can tell you that they underreport on traffic on 80 all the time. It's like, they're like, it's 80. It's 80. You know, get over it.
There were accidents today, like,
I didn't see one.
I don't think
no,
we can- I don't
maybe
think-
not
I
out
don't
there,
think
but
you
like
can
on
discuss
one of the bridges
anything.
had an accident.
There was an awful one on 80 last night. 80 westbound. Semi and a motorcycle. And yeah, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it was a 65-minute drive from Hercules to Oakland, going westbound. Yeah, it's pretty awful.
But for some reason, you're out there in Vallejo.
I like Vallejo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved up there 6 years ago. I really like it. Actually, a report just came out listing the top 200 hottest markets in America, and Vallejo was number 7.
Oh, really?
Santa Rosa was the only one in the Bay Area.
That's not temperature, it's.
It's because it's so damn cheap. It's just cheap. It's really affordable, you know, so.
So you're buying up,
I should be, yeah, because I think Vallejo's gonna really appreciate this year quite a bit,
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah.
Because you hear about folks that used to look in Berkeley and parts of Oakland now looking into San Leandro.
Well, that's what happens when this market heats up, it burns out, you know, like
Yeah.
like a fire. And during the crash, so many gays moved to Vallejo that there's a hill that they renamed Lavender Hill. Because the gays figured out that they could buy a really nice house and take the ferry, which is quite civilized way to get to work every day.
oh,
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a nice ferry, a ferry building and a nice waterfront.
I don't know if you watch the show Shameless on TV.
Mm-mm.
It used to be a British comedy, and it's the American version isn't as good, but essentially it's kind of this out-of-pocket family, kind of everyone's stereotype of a dysfunctional kind of multi-generational
Okay, we can get started.
welfare
Alice will pop over when she gets off the call.
kind of family, and you know, they live in a very
Still don't have.
you know, non-attractive place. And there's one episode in which a lesbian couple moves in and they're like, uh-oh, it's the end of the neighborhood, gentrification's on its way.
Hi, Alice.
No.
Alice, just to fill you in, we don't have a quorum yet, so
Okay.
we're just gonna give a little
quickly
bit of
talk about,
just items that we can talk about in preparation
Yeah, 'cause
for
we
a
can't talk
follow-on
about
meeting.
anything that's really on the agenda, but if there's like information to be shared, I mean,
Right.
Well,
then
what
you
we
can
can
keep
talk
it.
we can talk about agenda-related things, because we don't have a quorum.
Right,
We're gonna need to call a special meeting and ensure a quorum, because A and B are financial reporting requirements that we have to meet by deadlines.
right.
No, we don't have a choice.
Are you allowed to do email voting?
No, it's Brown Act.
Unfortunately, no.
So,
It's one of those odd things in state law that because of this group really has a lot of influence over taxpayer money, that anything related to the P-bid.
Has to be an open public meeting.
Yeah.
Got it.
Right.
so we'll figure that out.
And then we'll also need action on the bus acquisitions, the tax filings. Those are all timely things that need to happen.
So the bus acquisition, remind us, what, we just gave you direction, or did we approve it?
No, so what we did is last month, I just alerted the board that when we had approved the budget, we had assumed an acquisition of only 2 vehicles. With the recent loss of 2 of our vehicles, I'm pushing.
You lost them?
Well, they're too expensive to repair, put it
So
that way.
anyway, so this
So
is
they're down.
an item that's coming back.
So I reported last month that I would come back with an acquisition for 3 vehicles. And
that's what this is.
Exactly.
Okay, so we can do that in the next meeting to
Yes.
do the financials.
And then, we also need to set the date for the annual membership meeting.
And that requires a vote?
And we have to adopt a resolution for our bylaws that has to be a resolution of the board to set an annual membership meeting. So it's a formality. I will continue, if we can just in this room agree that the 21st.
Nope, you can't,
Well,
you can't.
I'm not gonna set the resolution, I guess the next meeting I'll have to do it. I'm gonna draft the mailers, this has to happen, I have to have it mailed out by the end of this month, so.
No, you don't, because we could hold the membership meeting anytime that the board decides, right?
In May,
You have to do, our bylaws say May?
yes,
Okay,
And
so
our
what we need to
bylaws-
know is we're gonna have a meeting in May.
yes. Exactly, and I
can't
need to
wait-
send out the invitations to the membership, which is over 400 people by, within a reasonable amount of time, like three weeks, I would say.
And that
so.
meeting doesn't have to conduct any business, correct?
No, we have to, the meeting is basically to provide updates to the membership and to elect officers, or not officers, elect directors for the business and residential. However, we've already appointed Francis for 3 years, and he's got one more year under that term, so we have no election to conduct this year. And our residential is still vacant, and we'll still look to fill that position, but there's no reason for an election. So this is basically gonna be an information session to the membership.
And we can't double up the financial and bus thing with this annual meeting?
We could elect to push the, well,
Well,
No,
We have to have a meeting to pick the date of the meeting.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
So what I'm telling you, board members, is we're gonna make you come to a meeting that's very short to do the financials and the bus,
Right,
and pick a date for the annual meeting. In the annual meeting, we don't require a quorum, so we're gonna make you meet
right. And we're gonna try to pair that meeting up with the.
twice
board
in
meeting.
a 30-day period, but one of them,
Right,
we're less
Unless you have a
sensitive
board
if you
meeting at the same time.
appear.
right, exactly. And there aren't any pressing action items, I believe, for the May meeting, so we may just have a membership meeting and not have a board meeting. I'll have to look at the calendar of actions on that, so.
So what about the website? Are we gonna do that?
So the website, actually Damon had called, he had a last minute emergency conflict, so he wasn't able to make it. I have the website, I can show you the website, or I can just send you the website
Yeah.
and you can comment on it.
And,
There's no action
and we
needed,
can
it's
cover
just-
that, if you wanna do that more formally, we'll have meetings, you can
Okay.
do that, right?
Perfect, yeah. And then, the signage was the other, I think.
Well, the annual report first,
Oh, the
right?
annual report, yes, so the annual report,
We can't talk about it, but
No.
you're gonna,
I'm gonna email it for board.
and give
comment.
hard copy, Jason will take a hard copy too,
Right,
and you're gonna ask on the email for any comments board members have,
right,
because it's not a vote.
no vote.
And for those new members, it will let you see what we accomplished last year, so you can help us accomplish more next year.
Right. And there are refinements to be made on this. This is just kind of giving you the rough draft. Yes.
And you aren't listed because it's backward looking, so,
Well,
it's report on the prior year.
14, exactly. So.
I asked about that.
that's sweet.
Ronnie put me in my place.
Ronnie.
It's Bob will take credit for the
For last year.
backward
Bob deserves the
looking
credit.
results.
Exactly.
And then the signage, Ronnie,
Right,
same
and
thing.
then the signage, same
Email
thing.
that.
I'll email it. I've got just a tiny few refinements, but really what I'm looking for on this is, I'm gonna need a board vote on approval to
Down the line.
manufacture and, exactly.
Okay,
What's with the different colors then? Is there any,
Those are the official colors of the routes on our route guide.
okay,
So they basically correlate to, if you were looking at a route map, it's just kind of the branding you use on our route map.
So these are the 4 options, is that what you're doing?
Yes,
Okay.
and our colors are kind of this purple and
this, Jason, these are the existing signs we have up there.
Okay.
people steal them.
People still think.
I have one hanging in my living room.
Okay.
just the one?
With the stop sign.
Yeah, you got the whole pole and everything, the big concrete block on the bottom.
Right next to the fireplace.
So that,
So there's no issue with us asking Karen for an update on the process and timing of
Not
the,
as part of the meeting, but just as part of the
Yeah.
people who are interested.
yeah.
Yeah, so the ridership survey, I had given it one last read through, and I should have then the final version, if not today, by tomorrow. It wasn't a very big one, it was just sometimes writers say things that aren't true. And
No.
and or you know, or saying they're stopping at places that there's not a stop kind of thing. So just to kind of, you know, account for that in terms of that you are aware that this is something that isn't possible, but you know, you did get a few of those kinds of responses. So so that was just very minor. And in terms of the general versus special benefit, we are, I think there's, I think they're close on well, that piece of it, part of it depends upon having the right budget numbers to plug into the either the split between general versus specific. You need to know, you know, what you're splitting. And once you get into specific benefit, you need to know again what you're splitting. So I've been working with Ronnie, and one of the things that I raised was the fact that with the proposed minimum wage, the way that council has now directed staff to develop the minimum wage, which I believe the first reading is May 5th, is that it would be $14.42 for businesses that have more than 55 employees effective July 1st. And for businesses that have 55 or less, which includes this service, it's $12.25 starting July 1st, $13 July 1st of 16, $14.17, 15 July 1st, 18, and then thereafter cost of living. And so that needs to be factored in because that's not, so I kind of asked to have kind of, well, the budget as it is now, and then the budget assuming that.
And Ronnie, you did an estimated impact to the system, and
Right.
what's the neighborhood for?
$150,000.
So that.
Per year.
Yeah, that minimum.
Once you're up to.
Once you're up to the full, but what we've done for budgeting purposes is we've taken it, we've done 150, which brings it to the 1425, and then plus up to 15 basically. It factors in all of that.
And do you have any gut back of napkin percentage that is an increase for our, you know, on our labor costs, that 150 is how much more?
I think it's a 0.5%, I think.
Yeah. So anyway, so that is, I won't say holding it up, but that was just one more
Overall
loophole that
budget.
we're now, you know, trying to include. I would say overall where we, the land use categories are much more finely tuned. And so we're looking at some of those and making sure that they make sense. So for example, parking structures and common areas and gas stations, for example, at this point we're looking at wouldn't be part of the people because they don't derive any benefit. So we're just kind of making some of those. And that we're also starting to look at how those land uses are applied to specific parcels, because this is before there was only, for commercial parcels, there was only office, retail, commercial, or warehouse industrial, and now we're probably looking at maybe 20, 25 different parcels. So that just making sure that there's some accuracy.
Who will administer that? That's a lot of.
I am working, well, it's based partly on what the county says, and then we're gonna do some reality checks with planning and building staff.
That's a lot.
So, yeah, so that, we might end up releasing it in two pieces, because that second piece is gonna take quite a bit of effort. Because it's not something that's been done before. It's not how any of the business information has come. So that is kind of where we are now. I would say that there will be some folk, I would say that broad strokes is that that the special benefit that industrial and warehouse parcels is going to be significantly less based upon this analysis. What I would say is that what is now being done is it is to be much more tailored, while some, it's really based now on trip generation as you would get from a planning document. So all of you who've done development kind of have some sense of what those are like. So it's much more, it's based upon that before. Well, before it was kind of just, I would say, lumping kind of more of a common sense, you know, that warehouse industrial doesn't generate as much as
I think they did use ITS data.
They did, but they only did it,
was,
they only
yeah.
did it kind of.
It was generalized because
And
it
so-
was
Generalized.
yeah, we-
And
The
now
single
it's like-
highest levy will be on real estate brokerage houses, is that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I would say, you know, think of those parcels that generate a lot of trips, and to remember that it's based upon access, not use. So, you know, you might see situations where, so it's more like if the trips could benefit from the system, not that in fact necessarily the use pattern is the same, because you don't know. I mean, the same business that has no one working for them near a BART station, right? 6 months could have 50% of their employees working, you know, by a BART station, and that would change the usage.
So timing
but the
wise,
access is the
I mean,
same.
you're working on all that, but in terms of public engagement in our
We
our
have had
opportunity.
2 community meetings at City Hall and a 3rd community meeting at Watergate.
And those were informational, right? Because you don't have anything
Yes,
to
I
present.
hesitate to really do more until we have more to say. I mean,
Right.
there's a certain amount of frustration
Yeah.
of, well, you know, we want some real understanding of what this means.
So when do you think that,
You know, I still think for a draft, you know, I'd said mid-April. I don't know about the, being able to translate the different use categories into, that meant that this business was here and this business went there. But we could say this type of business based upon the old formula was here, and this type of land use is now here. And you could kind of do that for yourselves. But to be able to actually do the engineer's report, that has to be done by the engineer for all the parcels. And that, I don't know that that's gonna be done.
but so you,
But that's gonna be done though.
It will be done,
Okay, got it.
but the
so
interim
you
would
think
be
there'll
that
be
you
a
could see from the
bunch of
sheet.
information for the public to read and digest and discuss
Oh, certainly by the end of April.
by the end of April, so the discussion is happening in May?
Yeah, because the only thing that might not be done, and I'm hoping that it is that you might have to take the formula and apply it to your situation as opposed to just reading the appendix
Yeah.
where it's already done. That's the only thing that I
Right.
can't, I
Okay.
don't wanna say for sure, just because it's a lot of work. And quite honestly, you know, to do it with accuracy is going to be a challenge.
Mhm.
Particularly as land uses
Mhm.
change.
Jeff, just a correction, 10%, the 150% is 10% of the operating budget for just the labor cost for the operator.
Okay.
And 5% of the total budget, not
So
half.
that's where we are with that. I think that's kind of where we are. I said it's,
What's our city manager's last day?
June 30th, or whenever, or if the city either,
Find
selects a
someone
new
earlier?
Find someone earlier.
But it's not
Either
later than
permanent
June
or
30th.
interim.
Mhm.
It's not a day later than June 30th is her last day.
Fiscal year.
That's the last day of her contract with the city.
I see.
And
So Jason should be contacting the city immediately.
Yes, I agree.
yeah, it's a
All
good
in
thing for
favor?
Oakland. It's a good thing for Oakland, not such a great thing. Well, I mean, Emeryville will be fine, but
Right.
no one in the city that works there is looking forward to her leaving.
Well, so I don't know that there's anything else to discuss, Ronnie, that we're
There
allowed to?
isn't. But does anybody want to just see if they have in this room, whoever's here, availability next week? And now I can pitch to the others that are not here? Okay.
I know I'm out Monday and Tuesday.
Would Thursday of next week at 9 o'clock work?
What day of the week is that?
That's the 23rd.
Oh, 23rd is fine.
I can't commit to it, but if you get a quorum, I don't care, right? Yeah, I may or may not be here, but we should just find when we can definitely get a quorum.
Thursday.
I can be here.
What time on Thursday, 9 o'clock?
I'm thinking 9.
I can do it, I just have a noon commitment.
Okay, it should be a very quick meeting.
I can do Thursday at 9.
Okay, Thursday.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, perfect. I'll
Yeah.
make
So
sure.
you just gotta get 2 more. But
Yes.
you can't count on me, 'cause,
I won't.
so get 2 and if I
Get 2
come.
more, make sure I have at least 2 committed, okay. And if I can't, then how does Friday, the 24th look for people?
The 24th,
Mm-hmm.
I'm open.
Okay.
I am open on Friday as well.
Okay.
I have time to Friday morning.
No Friday morning?
And I know I can't come Friday.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to, okay, the last option, sorry, 22nd, Wednesday the 22nd.
Oh,
I'm going to be here for.
That's gonna be really tough for me.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah, I'm having a thing on Tuesday, so
okay.
it's gonna be tough for me.
Big party, still be recovering.
Something like that, yeah, that's my
Birthday
GI doctor, he throws the
There's a
best
big-
party.
TMI.
He throws the best parties.
Okay, so no,
I wasn't invited.
It's not a party you wanna go to.
okay, all right, well, I'll be in touch.
Okay, well, thank you, sorry we aren't,
Yeah,
able
I'm
to
gonna be
get.
here the 22nd, I